if adventure has a name, it must be the Cinema Dude. Yes, welcome back to my channel, everyone. And today we are celebrating one of my favorite movies of all time. It turns 40 today, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes, so today is going to be all about Indiana Jones, some movies that I have that influenced it, and we have some kind of knockoff movies. We'll show some books and other things I have as well. Probably my favorite adventure film, Raiders. I actually got to see it earlier this past week, on big screen. So I was very excited to see that again, especially in time for its 40th anniversary. So very, very excited to see that again on the big screen. Always a treat. It was definitely the remastered version, the one that just came out. But just see all just the better quality of it was awesome. So just a little bit kind of story. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so kind of the next logical thing after that was, okay, well, usually if you're Star Wars fans, you like Indiana Jones too. I saw Raiders when I was younger. I don't really remember when. I would probably say kind of around the same time that I saw Star Wars, and just loved it. I think Raiders is a perfect adventure film. I think nothing, you have like these knockoffs, and even some of the other films in the Indiana Jones series, it just doesn't top the first one and stuff. So let's just kind of hop into it, I guess. We'll go with, let's start with influences. So stuff that, came before, adventure movies that kind of has had the impact on Indiana Jones, and then we'll go into the movies themselves. I'll give you my little rankings, what I like about each and stuff, and then we'll go from there. So the three I just want to kind of actually four. And these definitely, there's more. Treasure of Sierra Madre I have, but it's just the disc I have. I don't have like cover art for this. That one. The Secret of the Incas with Charlton Heston. That's another one that they're just ones that definitely have that influence. And these are a few others as well. So first we're going to kind of go with one that I would say is on the far end, but there's kind of these little things. So first we have Casablanca, and you might be saying, well, how is that really, besides like, Bogart being in a fedora and stuff? Well, there are the setting, having it, be that kind of foreign area type stuff, and, having that kind of gray area between characters. You could think of Rick's Bar in Casablanca, just like Club Obi-Wan and, the start of Temple of Doom. So, there's those things here and there, and, almost kind of his grizzled look on life kind of is the same as Indy's. A little bit more darker in this aspect compared to where Indy goes, but the same kind of thing. So that is Casablanca. Again, not a true adventure film. That's more of a drama, I would say, war type movie, but these next ones have more to it. Then we have The African Queen, again, another Bogart movie with Katharine Hepburn. Again, out on a venture, and how it says here. So this is where's this one? I feel like this is the newest one that they put on Blu-ray, but this is a nice release of this. So the burgeoning romance between Bogart's river rat Charlie Allnut and Hepburn's missionary Rose Sayre, as they reluctantly joined forces to torpedo a German U-boat in war-torn East Africa. It is directed by John Huston. But again, it's like that kind of adventure. You're in a foreign land. You're, trying to defeat, the Germans, and, it's just kind of like that action kind of adventure. So, and then again, their budding romance between, kind of the grizzled person in Humphrey Bogart's character, and then with Katharine Hepburn, so as the African Queen. And then we're going to go back a little further. This one definitely, with kind of the mysterious place and like the group of explorers, and this is from 35, and this is She. So this one actually has both the color and black and white versions of this. This is actually a nice set by Kino. So a group of explorers led by the dashing Leo Vinci sets out on a dangerous mission in search of the legendary Flame of Life, a mysterious force that bestows immortality. The precious journey takes them north to the heart of a remote glacier, where they are captured by the beautiful She, an independent, powerful, and fearsome woman who rules a fantastic subterranean kingdom. Filled with Art Deco styles, gorgeous costumes, it's scored by Max Skyner. She is a pure, heart-stopping, eye-popping adventure sure to delight fans of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then there's also created under the direction of legendary effects master Ray Harryhouse. Oh, that's kind of cool. He was like the color producer on this one. So again, another classic. This was actually based on by H. Rider Haggard's astounding novel, who will come back again with King Solomon's Mines as well. So that's She. Definitely a cool, again, lost civilization type thing, and you're looking for a certain, as Lucas would say, MacGuffin. And then we go fast forward in time to the Vengeance of She, this is a Hammer production. And let's see, it says a young, beautiful woman named Carol is plagued by hallucinatory voices calling her Aisha, and is drawn by the mysterious force towards the east. During her voyage, she meets Dr. Philip Smith, who decides to accompany Carol to her unknown destination. Eventually, the two reach the lost city of Kuma, where Carol is greeted as the reincarnation of Queen Aisha. So again, another kind of, they go to a lost civilization, and adventure and action occurs. So that is She. So then from there, now we're getting into the actual portion of, Indy itself. So, Lucas, and the famous story that they were on, Lucas and Spielberg were on holiday in Hawaii, waiting for the stuff from Star Wars to come back. Spielberg says, I want to do a Bond film, and Lucas says, I have you beat. Has the idea of Indiana Smith. Spielberg likes the idea but doesn't like the name, changes it to Jones, and as they say, the rest is history. So we'll first go into some of the extra stuff I have of kind of Indiana Jones stuff they have, and then we'll go into the movies, and then we will go into the kind of what came out of it and stuff. So first and foremost, this was in 2012, so this was almost 10 years ago when the first Blu-ray set came out, and I got to see this on the big screen, and it came with a poster, and this is really cool. I framed this poster and stuff. It's a really kind of neat poster and stuff, and it is just a Raiders of the Lost Ark photo, and then I put in the corner, I put like the little sticker that was in there, but really cool. I really love the artwork. It almost has a kind of like the old kind of school, what they would use for the posters for Raiders and all that kind of artwork and stuff. So I get kind of sorry, there's a little glare, but let's see. Yeah, it kind of has doesn't have everybody on here. It has Sala and Indy and Marion, and then they have like the little the warehouse and stuff, but very cool on that aspect. And then I have, this is a really cool kind of book too. This one came out in 2008, and it has stuff for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it's the Indiana Jones Ultimate Guide. Just like the kind of Star Wars ones that they do, they did one for Indy. So it was kind of cool to pick this up. It goes into like everything, which is kind of cool. Goes into the games, goes into the comics, goes into special effects, goes into, the stories themselves, characters. It kind of reminds me of they did one for James Bond, that kind of had like the same kind of thing where it had all like the different ventures and stuff like that. So, kind of a cool one. I'm guessing when the new one comes out, they'll probably update this or whatnot. But that is the Indiana Jones Ultimate Guide. This one I still in print, I think. Probably get it for like $30 or something. So, then we have some Indiana Jones novels. In the 90s, there was kind of just like with the boom with the Star Wars Expanded Universe. They started going into indie novels. Now, I only don't have a lot. I have 5 here. I may have more. I feel like I have more, and I don't know where the rest are. But so this I have. Now, there were, in total for the U.S. or I guess English speaking ones, there were, they had like Choose Your Own Adventures ones that were were earlier, but then they did have like 3 main people do these novels, and then they had one come out around the time that Crystal Skull came out. They had another one by, I think, Steve Perry, one of the novels that do kind of action-y kind of novels, did that. But the first one was by Rob McGregor, and his were more towards like indie, just in college, right out of college type stuff. So before, a lot of these are before, like, right, they don't have anything that's after or during the series. Let's see, Hollow Earth takes place, let's see, of course, 34. So, yeah. So, we have, let's see, so from him, we have Indiana Jones and the Peril at Defy. And this one is, I want to say this is the first book, because there's also Dance of the Giants, Seven Veils, Genesis Deluge, and Unicorn Legacy. So that, again, they have, different love interests, different stories. So this one is for 16th centuries. The Order of Phaya has awaited the reappearance of the ancient oracle of sacred knowledge of Delphi. An earthquake rendering the earth beneath the ruins has now heralded her return. Dolorian Belcamus, a beautiful and bewitching archaeologist professor, sees an opportunity to do more than dig into the past. It is her chance to seize control of her country's future, becoming the Oracle of Delphi. She has found just the man to help her consummate her scheme. He's brash, he's reckless, and he's fallen under her spell. His name, Indiana Jones. The adventure spanning the globe from Chicago to Paris to Greece, where bullwhip in hand, Indy descends into the bottomless pit of the serpent god and finds the sacred stone that holds the key to Oracle's prophecy. But Dorian has designed an even more sinister fate for young Indy. She means to make him her lover, her priest, her pawn, in a plot to kill the king. Will Indy find the source of Pythia's powers and find himself sacrificed at Dorian's altar, a victim of her bloody ambition and desire? So, like I said, this is the first one. This one, I believe, is the last one in the series. And so this one is, let's see when it takes place. Of course. So this is in 30 or 24. And that's Indiana Jones and the Unicorn's Legacy. And I won't go through each of them, but so this one, of course, is trying to find the mystical relic that is a unicorn's horn. So these are these two. Then they went into Martin Carlin, I believe, and he did 2 books. They really aren't that well liked per se, just because it's more like about like airplanes and that, and not really the Indiana Jones adventure. He was more into aviation, so we kind of put that into there compared to the Indy character itself. And then my favorite, just because it gets as close to Raiders and all that as possible, is the series from Max McCoy. And these ones were... Oh, actually, there was one more for Rob McGregor, and that was Indiana Jones and the Interior World. And then Martin Carlin does Sky Pirates and the White Witch. And then here there is... let's see. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6... of Max McCoy's books, and they are Indiana Jones and the Dinosaur Eggs. And part of this actually was, the idea of this was for, I want to say it was part of the beginning stages of Temple of Doom, where they were going to kind of do something like this on the Great Wall of China and things like that, but then it got scrapped. But I think some of the ideas came back into this book. Indiana Jones and the Hollow Earth, and Indiana Jones and the Philosopher's Stone. Yes, he found the Philosopher's Stone before Harry Potter did. So, and then there's also, let's see, I feel like there's, which one am I missing? Hold on. There is Hollow Earth. Secret of the Sphinx. So maybe it's just 5 then. Yeah, I think it's just the 5. So yeah, it's just there's one more, and that is the Secret of the Sphinx. So that is there are those. So those are the Indiana Jones novels. They vary. Definitely I enjoy the Max McCoy novels a little better. Just because, again, it's closer to Raiders. You get kind of the Indy and while like the Rob McGregor ones are more of kind of building of what he will become and stuff. So, but those are the Indy novels. These ones, they're kind of harder to find, but you can definitely find them. So yeah, so there's those. And now let's go into the movies themselves. So, surprisingly, now you know how many things of Star Wars I have different versions and stuff. I actually only have one box set of Indiana Jones. Gonna rectify that soon with possibly the 4K set. So, but the one I have, and I got this for my birthday, was the Indiana Jones. Well, this was the complete movie collection before they had and again, a rookie mistake when I was younger too. I got the full screen edition because I thought, hey, it's gonna cover all the screen. Why do I want those black bars? Yep. I was that kid, and I was like, oh, full screen. Why widescreen? That sounds dumb. It's gonna be smaller, and why would I do that? When technically widescreen, you're getting the actual thing. So, so here it gives you, for those that haven't had this set, it gives you, of course, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and then a disc of all the bonus features, so the makings of trailers and a whole bunch of that stuff. Decent set. The one thing I will agree with is picture quality in the sets after this and stuff have gotten better. The only thing is the special features kind of been the same. So if you get the special features in this one, it's probably going to be the same that you get on the Blu-ray set and things like that. So I was hoping for this with the new set, is that they really up the because of course it's 40th anniversary. Let's go into the archives. Let's do all this kind of cool, let's do deleted scenes, because really we haven't really seen a lot of deleted scenes. Stuff have been in the like the making of stuff, but nothing like, oh hey, here was this one, we cut this, here's this, here's that. Like there's really not a lot that you can just like, here's the screen, let me watch this one, or things like that. So all right, so now let's go into my rankings, and we will start with, now I'm going to preface this first. I enjoy all the movies, and I even enjoy Crystal Skull for all of its things, and we'll explain through each movie, but we'll go into each one. But in the fourth spot is King of the Crystal Skull. There's a lot actually I like about this. I think there's some really cool ideas. Again, it's awesome to see Indy back, see Marion back. But there's stuff that could have been cut out, could have been switched around. The reliance on CG definitely knocks it down. I think that's my biggest gripe with the movie, is a lot of CG. And I understand there's certain stuff in the movie that, how else are you going to do it? You can't do it practically. But the over-reliance on it really takes it out. As like with the other movies, you get that sense of, wow, you're actually there. When these, you're like, meh. I would say my other issues I have with it is, I actually don't have an issue with the nuke the fridge scene, because there's other things in these movies that have happened, especially in Temple of Doom, where it's like, okay, that can happen, but this can't. It's like, well, wait a second. And you can say, well, that's more realistic than this. Yes, but at the same time, too, they're both ideas that shouldn't work either way. So I would say that. I would say the jungle scene is cool, but again, if you cut it down, chop stuff out, didn't have, Shia LaBeouf's character swinging on ropes like Tarzan, I think if you cut certain that things out, you'd have a better story, I think. But again, it's still an enjoyable film. I'll put this on from time to time, just be like, you know what, hey, I'm not somebody that's like, oh, it doesn't exist, or something like it doesn't count. It still does, and it's still fun. It's still a fun movie. Is it the best? No. Is it complete? Excuse my language. Complete dog shit? No, it's not. There's a lot of ripoffs that are way worse than this. So, again, I'm excited for the fifth film. Again, the way it seems like it's going so far with some of the set photos and things like that, it's a lot of, again, practical stuff. Now we should all see in the final product, but I have hope. So that's in the fourth spot. Then we go into the third spot, and that is Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom has always been the darkest one. I think that's the enjoyable part about it, is it is more darker. It's a darker adventure. But it's not, it's not Raiders 2.0, which again is good, but there are things that it's I definitely like the beginning scene. I've always enjoyed that. There are some really cool things like the bridge scene. There are cool aspects to this. The minecart chase is really cool, but there's just kind of other stuff that's just like, is it one where it's like, there's definitely a distinct difference between here and here, but it's still an enjoyable film. It's just this is the one I don't put on as much. Maybe again, if I put it on more and more, then I would probably say, okay, it's rising my ranks. I know there's a lot of people that do love Temple of Doom. They love that it went darker, went different, but for me, the locations are cool, but it just, not my favorite. So that's for the third spot. I would say, again, it could grow on me, it could not. So in the second spot is Last Crusade. I just think a lot of this, the kind of Sean Connery, Harrison Ford, working off each other is great. I think Alison Dooley is a great actress. I think she does a great job in here, playing kind of that gray area character. I think the Holy Grail itself is kind of a cool concept and stuff. Again, there's some things in here that's like, meh. Like the beginning part, it's good to see like how Indy got all the stuff, but it's also kind of very like convenient. It's almost like what Lucas did with the prequel trilogy. It's like, oh, well, this is how this happened, this how this happened. It's like, okay, but you can leave some of that mystery to it of, oh, how he got a scar, or how he got the hat, or how he got the whip. Like, everything doesn't have to be handed to you. So, but again, another fun one. So that is the 2 spot. And then, of course, like I said, Raiders is in the 1 spot, and always will be in the 1 spot for me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just, like I said, it's the perfect action adventure movie. Like, you want to put on an action adventure movie, it's going to be this. It has, like, that kind of pulpy vibe to it, like what they were going for. It has great villains. I think that's the one thing that the other movies kind of lack, too, is the villains. And again, that's Paul Freeman's portrayal as Belloc. You don't get anybody better than him. Mulram's kind of cool. Last Crusade, you have the General and you have Walter Donovan, but they're not like that, like, villain that you're like, oh man, he's good. But then at the same time too, you're like, he's, you know what? They're kind of, again, the same. Him and Indy, like he says in the film. So, but like I said, the set pieces, this is the standard. So, Raiders is and always will be my number 1. Now we'll go into, to finish up the video, we'll go into some, knockoffs and, inspirations and things like that. So, and we'll go kind of in order, I want to say. So, like, what came out and things like that. Let's see, this is 84. This is 85, and this was 86. Okay, perfect. So, we'll start with one of the earliest ones, and this one in itself is actually a pretty decent movie, and that is Romancing the Stone with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito, which Danny DeVito was going to be the original person that they wanted for Sala, but then unfortunately he couldn't, and so they got John Rhys Davies, which, going back on it, actually, I'm thinking about it, and how would that have worked? John Rhys Davies definitely brings some more regalness to him, and so I just can't see, like, Sala being Danny DeVito. For some reason, I just can't. But this one is romance novelist Joan Wilder lives for and in a fantasy world, but when her sister is kidnapped by Colombia, and the only chance to save her is to bring a treasure map to her captors, reality quickly becomes stranger than fiction. Throw in a jungle full of gunfire, mudslides, poisonous snakes. Joan's only hope lies in Jack Cotton, a rugged wanderer straight out of her novels. Together, they'll have to outwit the bandits, survive the jungle if they have to save her sister, find the secret of El Corazon and Corazon, sorry. And so yeah, I definitely enjoy this one. This one, out of all the knockoffs and stuff, is probably one of the better ones, or what have came out of it. But more modern and stuff, but still kind of has that action adventure and stuff. And then they do have the sequel, Jewel of the Nile, as well. Then there's also other stuff like High Road to China with Tom Selleck. That's kind of an action adventure one. You have the 2 King Solomon's Mines ones with Richard Chamberlain, and we'll get into that once I show the other one. But then we go into a Canon, yeah, it is a Canon Films one, which is Firewalker with Chuck Norris and Lou Gossett. And Soldiers of Fortune, Max Dongan and Leo Porter are ever the adventurers with little to show for their exploits. When presented with a treasure map by the mysterious Patricia, Max and Leo imagine fame and fortune is within their grasp. However, they must contend with the guardian of the treasure in order to secure their bounty in Firewalker. This does have John Rhys Davies in here as well. So this is from 86. This is the Olive Films release of this. Another cool little action, adventure, again, modern, but still has that kind of charm and stuff. So definitely check this one out as well. Then we get to one that is only on VHS, and there's a few of them that are like that. There's Legend of the Golden Cobra. There is Ark of the Sun God as well. And this one is Sky Pirates. This also has a different name too. I want to say it's Dakota Harris or something like that, I think. And so this one is from 85. And it says, exotic backdrops and exciting special effects spark this high-flying adventure that bounces across the Pacific. Lieutenant Harris, a daredevil fighter pilot, can outfly, outgun, and outfox any enemy, even if he is afraid of heights. Tapped to transport a top-secret cargo to Washington, Harris is soon hopping from one remote island to another in what becomes the most important mission he has ever undertaken, stopping an ancient source of unlimited power from falling in the wrong hands. So here's the thing about this one. Cool premise, cool idea, how they kind of mix stuff, but literally the first half hour I was bored. Maybe it was just the time night I was watching this, but it was very like TV movie-ish, where it was like, oh, get to A point to B point, and it was like, okay, and then there was a cool scene, and then it was like kind of like slowed down again. So I'll definitely try to give this one another watch, but I wouldn't say it's one of the best. But if you're somebody that likes to have adventure films, or like me, have stuff that isn't on any DVD or something like that, I picked this up, and I picked this up for like super cheap too. So that is Sky Pirates. Then we go to, okay, let's see what it was first. It actually might be the same. This might be the same year, but we'll go with this one first. So we're gonna go with I want to say it was like a mini series, extended movie, but that was King Solomon's Mines with Patrick Swayze and Alison Dooley of Last Crusade fame. So this takes the King Solomon's Mines movies. Now, there were two with Richard Chamberlain and Sharon Stone. And those two definitely were more Indiana Jones based. They took that idea and placed, okay, let's take the concept of Indiana Jones. Let's take the, Alan Quatermain character and put it together. This one is like kind of a good mix. You have more of the novel, kind of how he is in the novel and stuff, but then you also have kind of that treasure hunting ability of Indiana Jones, but it's a little more balanced. It's a little more towards like the novel. So this is like the better kind of one if you want to get something that was more towards what the novel is and what the character of Alan Quatermain is. So it says, no one knew if the fabled tomb existed. Those who had searched for it never returned. It said, whoever finds it will become the richest soul on the face of the earth. Some say the most cursed. Now one of the most brave men who has been hired to find out what really lies buried in the darkness of King Solomon's mine. So that is this one. This was from 2004. I want to say this was on a Hallmark Channel or something like that. They came out with this one. So. And then we go, we finish up with, we got three more here. They are the National Treasure movies. Definitely enjoy, both are good, but one is I enjoy more. They're supposed to be doing a Disney Plus series, I think. There was always that third movie idea, and then they kind of went to now it's gone to Disney Plus. This, again, is more, you're getting into this time period where you're taking the Indiana Jones stuff. You have this, you had Da Vinci Code, where it was kind of like, oh, let's use, like, secret societies and things like that. And that's where, like, kind of these ones come in. Again, this one is like a lost treasure, that the Freemasons and Knights Templar did, and this one is more of like a book that has like a lost city of gold type thing. So, again, more like ancient stuff is in this one, while this one is, I mean, this one does have ancient stuff, but it's more like historical, like U.S. kind of history stuff, but enjoyable films. Nick Cage actually is regular Nick Cage in here. There's like only 1 or 2 scenes where he kind of goes a little nuts, but definitely not like crazy Mandy or that kind of Nick Cage and stuff. But enjoyable cast and stuff. If they make a series or whatnot, then I probably would check it out and stuff. So that's the National Treasure films. There's also the Librarian films too. Those were TNT, like direct to TV kind of movies, with Noah Wilde as the character, and there was 3 of those, and they also had the TV series too. And then last is this one I got at the dollar store, and it is Treasure Hunters. It's like a set. It looks like Tomb Raider, like the new Tomb Raider on there. And I guess this one is just called Treasure Hunters. Yep. And it says, legend has told of an immense treasure of gold hidden on Corridor Island in the Philippines, buried there by the Japanese during World War II. A new clue to its location is discovered, sending 2 different teams on illegal digs. Tara Green assembles a professional team of specialists, while a separate team led by sisters Riley and Bibby Cross use their father's 40 years of research to hunt after his untimely death. On different sides of the island, both teams believe they have found the point where X marks the spot on the map, but their illegal dig has put them all in danger from a variety of enemies, all who covet the treasure. And this is from 2018. And then also to include Pacific Inferno, a World War II adventure set in the Philippines in which a captured U.S. Navy diver, Jim Brown, is forced by the Japanese to search for a sunken treasure of silver coins. In the interim, Filipino resistant fighters help him sabotage his search, and the ranking POW officer in the camp gets a reality lesson. And it has Richard Jekyll in here as well. So that seems like it's more Rambo kind of ish, with a little bit of Indiana Jones. And there's one called The Legend of the Sea Wolf on here as well. But that one, again, it's more of like kind of more of a pirate type of movie and stuff. So those are all kind of the knockoff stuff. This has actually been a pretty long video with everything, so now we're getting at 40 minutes, but I want to celebrate all that is Raiders and the adventure films and stuff I have. I definitely want to pick up some other stuff, more of the obscure stuff like Ark of the Sun God. I want to pick up the 2 Cord main 80s ones with Richard Chamberlain. I'm looking forward to Indy 5. Yeah, comment below what's your favorite Indy adventure, what's your favorite Indiana Jones moment. Do you have any of these knockoff or ones that were influenced by Indiana Jones, the series? Any of those as well. Comment below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And next week we will be looking at Western films. So again, kind of an offshoot of the adventure films. We're going into Westerns. So, but as they say, fortune and glory, and it's not the years, it's the mileage. So we will see everyone next week. Have a great week. And remember, be kind, rewind, and why'd it have to be snakes?